and what the obstetricians really need to understand about newborn screening. When we use the word, we typically feel that it is not the role of obstetricians, but it is somebody else who needs to take care, the neonatologist. So today we have a galaxy of experts, Dr. Ashish Mehta, Dr. Dhiren Thakkar, Dr. Darshan Wadekar, and Mr. Vikas Bhatia, all from different walks of life and having different experience as far as newborn screening are concerned. So give a brief about all the experts that we have today. Uh, Dr. Ashish Mehta, he's a senior neonatologist at Arpan Newborn Care, Ahmedabad. He's an experienced skilled awarded neonatologist, actively involved in several government and non-governmental projects in effort to improve newborn care in India and Gujarat. Welcome, Dr. Ashish Mehta.
Thank you.
Then we have Dr. Dhiren Thakkar. He's a consultant neonatologist, also associated at Arpan Newborn Care in Ahmedabad. Fellow medicine from the College of Pediatrics in Australia with special interest on neonatal and perinatal medicine. Welcome, Dhiren.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Our next panelist is Dr. Darshan Wadekar. He's trained in fetal medicine in Chennai, US and UK. He is the honorary secretary of Surat OBGY Society, and he is the youngest faculty at Ian Donald World Congress on Human Reproduction in Dubai and speaker in TEDx at Surat. And his mantra is learn, teach, raise the level of healthcare in society. Thank you, Darshan.
Thank you very much.
And we have none other than Mr. Vikas Bhatia, who is the founder of MERD India. It's a parent support group. It has actively participated in more than 125 professional meetings and delivered more than 40 lectures at reputed organizations. He's helped more than 6,000 people, including clinicians, doctors, and parents for IEM and newborn screening. Welcome, Mr. Vikas Bhatia.
Thank you, Dr. Saurabh.
And your moderator for today is Dr. Saurabh Dani. I am an obstetrician from Mumbai. I am one of the coordinators or the principal coordinator for the Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai Newborn Screening Program. I am the Vice President of Indian Society for Prenatal Diagnosis and Therapy and the past President of Association of Fellow Gynecologists Mumbai. So I welcome all the participants and the panelists into this webinar. And this would have not been possible in any other normal circumstances where we would get such a huge galaxy of people from different cities and different parts of India. But webinar makes that possible. So probably all of my panelists, is newborn screening really important? And Dr. Ashish Mehta, maybe we can start with you. Do you think newborn screening is important?
Saurabh, to tell you the truth, looking at this question, I think this is 2020, and this is an old question to ask. We are beyond this, and I know that still the pickup of the newborn screening is not that what we expect, but it is important. There is no question about that. And why so? Because this is an era of prevention. We know the prevention is better than cure. And this is a program which can help to prevent so many life-threatening diseases, which otherwise could have been picked up and treated in time and life saved. This is an era where single child family or single baby family is happening. Each baby is becoming more and more precious. So in current era, there is no doubt that this is important. It has to be done. And I think this is now, the question would be that how sooner it can be done, how many diseases to be covered, is it important or not?
Dr. Saurabh, you are muted, I guess.
So, sorry, Dr. Dhiren, my question is, continuing from Dr. Ashish Mehta's point that this is very important and it has to be done and we should not even talk about this at this point of time, okay, whether it is important. It's been years since newborn screening has been there in world over. And why is this still not being seen very commonly being done in like how CBC is being done or something like that in India? Why there is so much discussion about newborn screening? What is your take on it?
Well, I would say that awareness was a big problem some time ago, but now it is not an hindrance, and people are now aware about it. Quite a few states in India have already started their own newborn screening program, and now it is not only limited to the screening for the metabolic and genetic problems, but it has been extended even beyond that. Recently, Government of India has mandated neonatal hearing screening as part of the routine assessment in the neonatal period. So I wouldn't say that in the current situation in India still it is not happening as per the expectation. Of course, we are not at par with the West, but then sooner it is going to happen the same situation in developing country like India also.
Okay. So, Dr. Darshan, you see pregnant women every day in and out. So, what do you think is the awareness level you see in the pregnant women today? Is it better or is it still not there? What is your take? What do you think? What is your feel on the ground?
Well, well, I personally feel that pregnant women is still far away. I think amongst the doctors itself, I think it is very low. Although I know that for the past so many years you've been trying, and I see a lot of even newborn screening. But unfortunately, I think yes, it is still. I would say probably 10% of the doctors who might be even thinking about it. Knowledge is a different aspect. I mean, we have knowledge of so many things, but thinking about applying into practice, I think there is a huge gap between having that knowledge and applying into practice. So I think we definitely, these kind of seminars would improve that. But 100% yes, I think today we are in a zone because a lot of cases that we often on see where we are not able to find an answer, and unfortunately the child dies. uh, I think probably these can give us some answers as we grow.
Sir विकास भाटिया,
जी
आपने तो काफी एनजीओ से काम, मींस आप खुद एनजीओ चला रहे हो, आपने काफी लोगों की मदद की है. आपको क्या लगता है कि ये प्रॉब्लम डॉक्टर में है कि अवेयरनेस नहीं है, पेशेंट में अवेयरनेस नहीं है? हम लोग सब मानते हैं कि इम्पोर्टेंट है, फिर भी नहीं हो रहा है, तो आपको क्या लगता है ये क्यों नहीं हो रहा है?
देखिए, सबसे बड़ी बात है कि अगर हम न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग की बात करें तो ये टेस्ट नहीं है. सबसे पहले तो प्रोग्राम के रूप में इम्प्लांट होना चाहिए, जैसा कि वैक्सीन इम्प्लांट है. दूसरा, जो अवेयरनेस की आप बात कर रहे हैं, तो सबसे पहले अवेयरनेस डॉक्टर्स के रूप में जरूरी है, क्योंकि जब तक डॉक्टर ये नहीं समझेंगे कि न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग लाइफ को सेव कर सकती है, तब तक वो उसे आगे इम्प्लांट नहीं करेंगे. और दूसरी बात, पेरेंट्स की अगर बात आती है, क्योंकि अगर कोई भी प्रेग्नेंट लेडी या कोई कपल जब प्रेग्नेंट होकर डॉक्टर के पास फर्स्ट जाता है, और अगर वो उसे जैसे डाउन सिंड्रोम के बारे में समझाता है कि हमें फर्स्ट मार्कर करना है या इस बच्चे का स्कैन करना है, अगर उसी तरह कोई भी डॉक्टर पेरेंट को ये कन्वे करे कि न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग भी उतनी ही इम्पोर्टेंट है जैसे कि आपके ये अनबॉर्न चाइल्ड के लिए स्कैन इम्पोर्टेंट है या ये मार्कर टेस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट है, उसी तरह से न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग भी उतनी ही इम्पोर्टेंट है कि कुछ डिसऑर्डर में हम बच्चे को कंप्लीटली सेव कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि ये डिसऑर्डर हिडन है. क्योंकि जितना मैं समझता हूँ कि न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग इन डिसऑर्डर्स के अंदर बच्चा 9 महीने बिल्कुल नॉर्मल दिखता है, चाहे कोई भी आप स्कैन कराइए या मार्कर कराइए. प्रॉब्लम मेटाबॉलिक एरर्स के अंदर, अगर हम मेटाबॉलिक एरर्स की बात करें, तभी चालू होती है जब बच्चा मदर के फीड से एक्सपोज होता है. तो गायनी या किसी भी डॉक्टर को सबसे पहले पेरेंट्स को इन्फॉर्म करना चाहिए कि ये कितनी इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि ये टेस्ट नहीं है. डॉक्टर साहब फिर रिपीट कर रहा हूँ, ये एक प्रोग्राम होना है, ये प्रोग्राम के रूप में इम्प्लांट होना चाहिए, तभी हम न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग को सक्सेस कर सकते हैं.
So maybe I will start with an obstetrician which is there on our panel. Do you think as obstetricians we should be talking or promoting newborn screening, or it is our neonatologists who should be taking or talking about newborn screening per se? Darshan, if you can unmute yourself and answer this.
Yeah, I personally think definitely obstetricians play a major role. There is no second thought to it. And I think as far as the cost is involved, I think including it like how, even if beginning with a simple hypothyroidism should also be very, very useful. But I think obstetricians play a major role. And that's where I think we have already spoken earlier also that I think we need to first sensitize the once that comes into play. I think the past 10 years into the routine obstetric practice. I think the same way we have to bring this in.
So Darshan, my question is, who will sensitize the obstetrician? Do we need a neonatologist to sensitize us, or do we need an NGO to sensitize us, or do we need a government order forcing us to start doing it? Only then we will listen to them.
I think it will be the cases. I think we will have to represent a lot of cases where we have made a difference and where it has impacted the family as well as the society at large. So if we will start, the collectively who all of us are here and a lot of others who are already doing it, if we can together make a case study, and obviously the neonatologists and the pediatricians will make a key role where they will show us the late diagnosis and the impact of it. That will change our mindset.
So Dr. Ashish Mehta, as Dr. Darshan is talking about that we need more case studies. Is it that we don't have case studies in India? That there is no evidence or no data?
I'll continue what he said, that we already documented enough of cases where the diagnosis is not reached. Even in the best setups, take any major mega cities, you end up with suspected sepsis. And then we know that how broad this diagnosis is and how bad this diagnosis is. Under umbrella of sepsis, so many things can happen and everything was acceptable, I'll say 20 years back. In current era, with feasibility of all these tests, I think we need to explore this possibility of investigating this in detail. And when it comes to investigation, first we'll be coming to the screening part. So when it comes to the screening part, first is the during pregnancy. If the mother has been screened, mother has been informed about this screening, then we can take it further. Why so? That for first 9 months, mothers is with you people, all obstetric colleagues. If during the last trimester, some words are being put or some brochure is being given or some leaflets or some information is being given to the mother and the family that these are the tests which are important. And as Dr. Vikas already explained that your scans are not going to show your baby's totally normal metabolically or functionally. Baby need to be away from the mother to see whether baby can do all right or not. And if you want to screen this thing, then these are the tests. So at least a word about this test, I strongly feel has to be done by the obstetrician. Having said that, while I was getting ready for this seminar, I really look at the practices in other developed countries where the newborn screening program is running for last year. And when I look at the UK program, the mother is being informed and we're having one-to-one counseling at 28 weeks of the pregnancy. That is beginning of the third trimester, mother is given information about newborn screening. So I strongly feel that a word is to be put by obstetrician. And when they come to us for the first weight check, BCG, or any other help, we can offer the same test so that they should not feel that this test has come out of blue and suddenly my baby is feeling sick. That's why this doctor is asking for this test. That is how it should be.
Dr. Dhiren, have you ever encountered any patients whose life has changed because you did a newborn screening?
Well, quite frequently, I would say, especially for diseases like something like congenital hypothyroidism, which is not, I would say, that a sporadic thing to happen now in our country also. And many a times the practice in the past has been like if the mother herself was found to be hypothyroid either during pregnancy or before, and if she was on thyroid supplements, then possibly for those kids, the thyroid status assessment either in form of formal thyroid function test or newborn screening was being advised. But that was only the tip of the iceberg. And we know that even without a family history of hypothyroidism, still a child can born with a congenital hypothyroidism because of lot of problems. And if that is been diagnosed or maybe picked up by a simple test like newborn screening, then it can change the whole life of the child, because we all know that how crucial the role of thyroid is in the neonatal and infantile developmental stage. So yes, definitely, with such cases being picked up, I mean, not only the life of the child, but the whole family's overall lifestyle, or maybe the future of the child can be easily changed.
Yeah. Dr. Dhiren, I think Dr. Darshan wants to come in.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Dr. Darshan, you wanted to say something?
Just wanted to add one thing. Can we begin with the high risk cases, because those are the cases where most people uh, would be ready to spend to spend it. You know,
Okay.
I think that's how we started with it. And
Yeah,
Sir,
Dr. Ashish Mehta. Yes, please.
why will we, which case is not high risk case these days? Which case is not?
see,
And even
see
a
that's
first,
a
even a primary mother, I'll just give an example. A primary mother walking on the 15th day of life in our clinic and having 22 of bilirubin. And we said, we confidently say that don't worry, this is a exaggerated physiological hyperbilirubinemia. But as a part of investigation, anything beyond 14 days has to be investigated. We asked for all the tests. Thyroid was, TSH was sky high. Okay. Now, believe me, the parents were not ready to accept that my baby can be hypothyroid. So it started window stopping for 2 days. Then from one pediatrician to other pediatrician, went from original obstetrician to other physician for the same one. Now, each delay in picking up the hypothyroidism has its effect on his long-term IQ. And which baby will turn out with this simple one basic problem of hypothyroidism, you never know. So that is why we strongly, and number two would be, I understand that you might be thinking about the cost of the investigation. I don't think that few hundred rupees will matter a lot. As such, when we're talking high risk, we understand what is the cost. Even for the low risk, the minimal will be thousands of the deliveries and pregnancies. As against that, hundreds for one test will matter a lot. And I very strongly feel that suggest high risk, I'll say each and every newborn. Yes, we may not screen for 45 diseases. We may not screen for 5 diseases. We may screen for selected disease which are more prevalent in your area. It may be one or two. And India is such a big geography that diseases which are prevalent in Punjab may not be there in Goa. Goa is surprised to know that free fatty oxidation the oxidation defect is very high, which is not commonly seen other part of the country. Hypothyroid problems are more in north and less in south. So in that case, each state should have a basic program. We understand we are not very strong on epidemiology. Yes, minimum
Okay.
hypothyroidism and G6PD has to be done because these are two major things which can change anyone's life.
Yes. I think I would agree with Dr. Ashish Mehta also that in Mumbai, when we are doing the newborn screening program, in Mumbai, all the medical colleges, it is mandatory, all the 4 municipal medical colleges where we do the thyroid, the congenital adrenal hyperplasia, G6PD, and sickle cell. So these are the 4 disorders which are done for every baby which is born in the medical colleges in Mumbai. And to really say it's not expensive, it's we actually make a mountain out of a molehill, that it's very expensive, but absolutely is highly inexpensive. The cost is around just 1,000 rupees or even less than that. So it's absolutely affordable, and parents, especially in a city like Mumbai, where they can easily spend more than 30,000, 40,000 or 50,000 in a delivery, they should easily be able to spend 1,000 rupees, and there should never be a problem. And it's always understood that it is costly, but it practically isn't that costly. Yes, Dr. Ashish.
Can I ask Dr. Darshan, why do you think that it should be for the high risk pregnancies?
see, I personally feel it is not about what I want to do. It is about, because if you see the difference in the practice of what you were saying in London or otherwise, is it's a nationalized health program. It's a nationalized where nobody has to, it is not about how much money I have in my pocket. It is about how much I want to shed for this, you know. So unless the people have that importance, right, Now, for example, as you were saying, I definitely agree that each pregnancy, I mean, I have been practicing as OBGY and fetal. So there was a primary patient with tetralogy of Fowler turning into translocation downs, which is absolutely rare, right? So I agree that each pregnancy is high risk, but for that family, it becomes difficult as an obstetrician to convince. But if I'm seeing a case where the first child had some problem, XYZ, I'm not defining that problem, XYZ, then they on the second pregnancy are ready to do every test you say, right? Point number two, as I think Dr. Saurabh always says, when we have discussed that we should make it as a package. So when a delivery takes place, if you can include that 500 into the delivery package or 1,000 rupees into the delivery package, I think nobody have an issue. Will have an issue.
Yes.
And secondly, as the cases rise, we will definitely get more answers to it. And then, like for example, FTS today has become a norm. I mean, I would say it is unfortunate for an obstetrician not to do a first trimester screening. That's the way I would put it. So I think it's a path that we have to grow and develop into. Otherwise,
Okay,
all
so Darshan,
pregnancies are high.
So Darshan, the way I think we need to put it is that there are, if you really look at the IAP guidelines or the NNF guidelines, they're clearly saying that there are two sorts of panels. One is a very basic panel, which is like what Dr. Ashish Mehta said, very simple like thyroid and G6PD and sickle cell and congenital adrenal. So something 3-4 disorders, which there should not be question about risk, high risk or low risk or anything. It is for every baby which is born in your setup, whichever it is. It could be a private setup, it could be a public setup, whatever it is.
Yes, and secondly, you have to realize that the prick is also there. So the acceptance of pricking to the child is still another zone. I'm sorry, but it's a practical problem for the patient, not for us.
No. I will put it in a different way. If you really see the history, by the time the child is 10 years old, they have been pricked so many times for vaccination. I don't think that prick is really an issue. It is the prick which is in the mindset of an obstetrician that prick is an issue in the mindset of the parent. Because they have been pricked so many times, they have been pricked.
So I'm saying, in the parent's mind. True.
Yeah. So no, we need to just downplay the whole thing. See, as obstetricians, if you overplay that, oh, it's a prick, it's going to be a big issue. Yes, that's it. See, I will give you a very simple example. What I do in my practice is when the patient comes and they say, okay, you're doing a newborn screening test, we just tell them, okay, do you want to do the prick yourself? It is very simple and very easy. They say, no, we don't want to do, and it's okay. So they feel if I can do it and I'm being offered to do it, then why should it be so complicated?
Correct.
So it's just changing their mindset into something that it's not very important. And when you are saying for high risk is what you are doing the full panel or the expanded panel where it includes TMS and everything. That is, yes, I understand you may do it for selected high risk panel, but what you need to go is back to the guidelines and very simple. If the parent can afford it, do the full panel, can't afford to the basic panel. That's it. And it's not about high risk or low risk, because we have seen umpteen number of cases wherein the so-called low risk patients end up having problems and the soul. Yes,
No,
exactly.
I'm just putting across for them who are finding difficulties. Definitely we should go for all, but I'm just putting across for somebody who is having difficulty.
Okay, so Darshan is in now. He is going to talk about newborn screening to all his patients. Mr. Vikas Bhatia, you wanted to say something.
मैं डॉक्टर दर्शन ने जो हाई रिस्क की बात करी उसमें उनको बताना चाहूंगा कि अगर हम केवल एक CH की बात करें तो डेटा के हिसाब से 25,000 बेबी CH लेकर हमारे देश के अंदर आते हैं, और अगर उनका 4 हफ्ते तक न्यूमन स्क्रीनिंग नहीं किया जाए तो न्यूमन स्क्रीनिंग एज ए प्रोग्राम बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. दूसरा डिसऑर्डर डॉक्टर दानी ने अभी बताया या डॉक्टर आशीष ने अभी बताया कि CAH, तो मैं आपका ध्यान दिलाना चाहता हूं कि अराउंड 5,000 बेबी CAH लेकर आते हैं हिंदुस्तान के अंदर, और जितना मैं जानता हूं, हो सकता है मैं गलत हूं, जितने भी हम लोग किन्नर देखते हैं अगर उनका सही समय पर न्यूमन स्क्रीनिंग या सर्जरी हो जाती तो अराउंड उसमें 60% किन्नर आज किन्नर नहीं होते, नॉर्मल जिंदगी जी रहे होते. और जहाँ आप बताइए प्लीज.
मैं क्वेश्चन आपको पूछ रहा हूँ एक जनरल पर्सपेक्टिव से. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू आर हैविंग नोट 10, सैमसंग मोबाइल या आईफोन 10 कितनों के पास है?
आई थिंक सबके पास ही आजकल. तो
नहीं, काफी कम लोगों को. हमारे ग्रुप में नहीं देखिए, मैं आप इन जनरल पब्लिक देखोगे तो काफी कम है. See, it is not about what is best available. It is that mindset that needs to be broken. That is what we, myself and Dr. Saurabh has been speaking, that ये mindset है जो हमें break करना है. और आप जो बोल रहे हो वो 100% acceptable है. This is the most correct thing to do. Basically, it is. I'm not discussing that this is right or wrong. This is 100% right. But
आपने हाई रिस्क की बात करी, मैं उस पे
about how to implement it, how to implement it. So basically क्या होता है, somewhere you have to begin it, and once it's पहले 10 पेशेंट जब जाएंगे ना इस रिपोर्ट के साथ, तो वो नेक्स्ट वाले को ये पूछे, अरे तूने नहीं कराया, तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली आगे पूछेगा सर मेरा ये करना है. You getting my point? So it is about getting the stone rolling, getting the ball rolling.
अगर आपके हॉस्पिटल में ये पॉलिसी के रूप में या यूनिवर्सल है, तो शायद सिर्फ पेरेंट्स को इन्फॉर्म करना है, नहीं कि हमें उनका कोई परमिट लेना है कि हमें ये टेस्ट करना है. अगर आपके हॉस्पिटल में ये पॉलिसी बनी हुई है कि ये 4 टेस्ट होकर ही बच्चा डिस्चार्ज होगा,
यूनिवर्सल मींस इट शुड बी ऑब्स्टेट्रिशियंस अक्रॉस द कंट्री. नहीं, यूनिवर्सल मतलब इट शुड बी यूनिवर्सल अमंग्स द ऑल ऑब्स्टेट्रिशियंस अक्रॉस द कंट्री, तब वो यूनिवर्सल होगा. यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? तो उस लेवल तक पहुंचने में थोड़ा आई थिंक थोड़ा टाइम है. व्हाट यू आर सेइंग इज करेक्ट.
नहीं, लेकिन अभी 8 स्टेट ने न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग हमारे देश में चालू कर रखी है, 8 स्टेट के अंदर. तो ये अपने
टोटल कितने स्टेट्स हैं?
टोटल बिल्कुल 28 स्टेट है, 6 यूनियन टेरिटरी है, लेकिन अगर 10 सालों के अंदर 8 ने भी चालू कर दिया तो हमारा बहुत बड़ा सक्सेस है ये.
So, Dr. Ashish, I just wanted to.
Absolutely. 8 से 18 होने में टाइम नहीं लगेगा. That is what I'm thinking. Yes.
Yeah. So, as we have seen, there is what Darshan is trying to point out is that there is some kind of a reluctance in accepting newborn screening by obstetricians, and maybe there could be multiple reasons. I could think that why they feel that it is a burden, unnecessary burden, expense. Maybe they have never seen those positive cases which have come afterwards, because see, Down syndrome, the baby is born, we know what the problem is. If the baby has some congenital malformation, we know what the problem is. How is the baby representing? But if a baby has congenital hypothyroidism, the baby doesn't come to us at all, and probably you detect it at 6 months or 1 year, and I don't even know what has happened about it. So I am absolutely clueless about what happens. What do you think? Is there anything else which is bothering the obstetrician not to talk about newborn screening in antenatal period?
I'll ask you one question. If we are supposed to order an investigation, interpretation of that investigation you don't know how to read, will you order that?
True.
That is what is happening. That is the reality. And they would like to get away from this, not responsibility, but they feel that even if after ordering this, as far as the treatment is concerned, why should we ask for this test? That is most important part. And as already discussed, the sector people feel it's burden, the cost is too much, they feel burden about it.
No. I'm sorry. I personally feel that I think it is still the mindset that needs to be broken. It is not about the obstetricians primarily. See, the thing is, whenever we are seeing, I mean, we have more obstetricians than panwalas across the city. So, so that is the fact of life, and we have to deal with it. So when we are trying to squeeze out the cost everywhere, this does come as a problem. But that is the reason why I said that when I remember that I mean 10 years back when I was discussing to all obstetricians across the city about doing fetal first trimester screening, it was a Herculean task, right? And even still, there are a lot of obstetricians who are still doing triple and quadruple in spite of repeated, informing. So it is not about that it is good or bad or whether it has an impact or not. It is definitely having impact and definitely useful at a very cost effective rate. But the problem is to make I started thinking, let them have one Downs positive, and the scenario will change. Second is as you said, if we make it a norm, but the norm is very difficult to design especially because we are all in a very different socio-economical and I would say situation in terms of what doctors we have in our metros and level 2 cities to the villages, and that is the reason why having a uniformity is a little bit difficult. In fact, I would say that, you know, once we begin in the metros, we begin in the level 2, then penetrating into the villages will be very easy. But I think that's the reason why I was saying it is not about me saying high risk or low risk. It is primarily about that, you know, there you can define to the patient or justify to the patient that I want to do it, please do it, you know.
I think there is something else to this also. The overall scenario, the audio acoustic emission, and that test is been done compulsory or made compulsory by the government of India. There is small cost attached to that, which is equal to the newborn screening. Now, within 1 year and within last 3 months of making it compulsory, penetration has gone. Asking for this investigation rate has gone like anything. Even in our institute also, initially kept as optional because it was not compulsory by the government. The day we received the letter, we made very clear that this is compulsory. If you want to get it done, that's fine. If you do not want to get it done, it's your problem. Now that is not happening with newborn screening, and I strongly feel that this is because of we do not have our epidemiology data. If the government come out and say that out of 100 baby, 1 baby or 0.1 baby is hypothyroidism, who go to the public, they immediately start asking for this. So probably the time to highlight what we are seeing day to practice, documenting it, make a note of it or make a sort of data, and then put it to the community at large and look for the acceptance.
I'll probably just share a very small story. I mean, I'm practicing in a nursing home, and most of the nursing homes several years ago never had a Boyle's apparatus. Then there was one big CME which was organized by the Anesthetic Association, and there it was made mandatory that in view of patient safety, it is better that every nursing home should have a Boyle's apparatus. So now what the anesthetists decided is that if there is no Boyle's apparatus, we will not go to that nursing home to give anesthesia. And within a week or 1 month, all nursing homes started having anesthesia machines. So maybe I think the neonatologists need to put their foot down that if you're not going to get a newborn screening done, we will not go and attend your deliveries.
So they will look for another neonatologist who is not asking for it.
So anyway, so
Dr.
yes,
Saurav,
going ahead.
May I leave?
Yes,
I need
please.
to go.
Yes,
May I leave?
I know. Yeah, please. I understand you have an emergency and you need to go. And thank you for
I'm
being
sorry
there in
to
spite of your
interrupt from
emergency.
the. Yeah, please.
Yes. Thank you
you
very much for being there.
Thanks a lot.
And we will probably continue our discussion some other time in
Sure.
some other forum.
No problem. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Dr. Ashish Mehta has to leave for an emergency, so he wouldn't be there. But we are good to have Dr. Dhiren Thakkar, a neonatologist who is also very accomplished. So I have a very simple question, Mr. Bhatia. ऑब्स्टेट्रिशियन को कन्विंस करने के लिए कि ये इम्पोर्टेंट है, क्या करना पड़ेगा? अभी आपने सुना होगा तो सब लोग बोल रहे हैं हाँ इम्पोर्टेंट है, करना चाहिए, लेकिन कुछ ना कुछ तो रीजंस की वजह से नहीं हो रहा है. डॉक्टर आशीष मेहता ने बोला कि बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है, डॉक्टर धीरेन शाह भी बोल रहे इम्पोर्टेंट है, डॉक्टर अश्विन वाडेकर भी बोल रहे कि इम्पोर्टेंट है, लेकिन फिर भी अगर कोई नहीं कर रहा है तो क्या करना चाहिए? गवर्नमेंट, आप वेट कर रहे हो जैसे थियरिंग के लिए कि गवर्नमेंट का गाइडलाइन आएगा, तो गवर्नमेंट का गाइडलाइंस आएगा तो आएगा. फॉर एग्जांपल देयर आर सो मेनी स्टेट्स, अभी बॉम्बे में जैसे गवर्नमेंट म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन को ऑलरेडी मैंडेटरी किया है, तो आप एक्सपेक्ट करते थे कि शायद बॉम्बे में चलो ये हो गया तो सब लोग अभी बॉम्बे में करेंगे, लेकिन द फैक्ट इज कि बॉम्बे में अभी भी सब लोग नहीं कर रहे. तो कौन कर रहा है बॉम्बे में? गवर्नमेंट में होता है, गवर्नमेंट सेटअप में हो रहा है, फिर आपका बड़ी कॉर्पोरेट हॉस्पिटल्स में हो रही है, ओके, और कोई कोई छोटे छोटे नर्सिंग होम्स में हो रहा है, लेकिन अभी भी 100% कवरेज तो नहीं हुआ है। तो क्या आप कर सकते हो एज अ एनजीओ और एज अ पेरेंट टू मेक देम रियलाइज दैट दिस इज समथिंग वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट?
देखिए, जैसा कि हम लोग कर रहे हैं कि एक तो अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम कर रहे हैं हम लोग, उसके द्वारा हम लोग उन्हें सेंसिटाइज कर सकते हैं। एक आप लोगों की तरफ से जो गाइनीज के ट्रेनिंग सेशन होने चाहिए कि न्यूमन स्क्रीनिंग भी इम्पोर्टेंट है उतनी, क्योंकि देखिए आप लोग काम करते हैं जच्चा और बच्चा के लिए। बच्चा जो उस समय पेट के अंदर, माँ के पेट के अंदर है, उतनी ही इंपॉर्टेंट मदर है, उतना ही इंपॉर्टेंट उस समय आपके लिए वो बच्चा है जो पैदा होने वाला है। तो गाइनीज को तो सेंसिटाइज होना ही पड़ेगा कि वो बच्चा जब न्यूबॉर्न बन के बाहर आएगा तो उतना ही इंपॉर्टेंट है कुछ छिपे हुए डिसऑर्डर्स जिसको हम लोग पिक कर सकते हैं न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग के जरिए, तो उसके लिए वो इन्फॉर्म कर सकते हैं। तो गाइनीज को खुद अपने आप से सेंसिटाइज होना पड़ेगा। गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम चलाए जाने चाहिए, आप लोगों की जो सोसाइटीज बनी हुई हैं उसकी तरफ से प्रोग्राम चलाए जाने चाहिए कि गाइनीज को ये लगे कि एटलीस्ट हम इन्फॉर्म तो करें पेरेंट्स को कि क्यों न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग इतनी इंपॉर्टेंट है। देखिए, जैसा भी आपने कहा कि वैक्सीनेशन के बाद में सबसे सक्सेसफुल प्रोग्राम अगर कोई है तो वो न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग प्रोग्राम ही है। बाहर के देशों में जितना आपने बताया कि 50 देशों में बचे, क्यों नहीं हमारे देश में भी ये सक्सेस हो सकता है? बिल्कुल हो सकता है। गाइनीज को इसमें निश्चित रूप से इन्वॉल्व होना पड़ेगा, चाहे हम लोग एनजीओ सेंसिटाइज करें, गवर्नमेंट सेंसिटाइज करे, आपकी अपनी जो सोसाइटी बनी हुई है वो सेंसिटाइज करे, उन्हें सेंसिटाइज तो करना ही पड़ेगा। और वो प्रोग्राम उसमें सबसे बढ़िया है कि उनके लिए ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम होने चाहिए क्यों न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग इंपॉर्टेंट है। और सबसे इसमें एक बात और जोड़ना चाहूंगी कि उन्हें डेटा देना पड़ेगा। जैसे डॉक्टर साहब आप बताइए, डाउन सिंड्रोम का क्या रेशियो है हमारे देश के अंदर?
आई थिंक 1 in 800, 1 in 850,
और कंजेनिटल हाइपोथायरायडिज्म का क्या रेशियो है?
1 in 900, 1 in 2000.
तो डाउन सिंड्रोम जब इतना इंपॉर्टेंट है उनके लिए कि वो बच्चा बिल्कुल स्वस्थ आना चाहिए, तो एटलीस्ट जब आप डेटा सामने रखेंगे तो अपने आप न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग की जो महत्व है उसका वो अपने आप उनके सामने आएगा। तो डेफिनेटली वो पेरेंट्स को इन्फॉर्म करेंगी। और मैं इसमें एक लास्ट बात और जोड़ना चाहूंगा कि ये टीम वर्क है। न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग कोई सिंगल हैंड प्रोग्राम नहीं है कि आपने सब कर लिया। ये टीम वर्क है, जैसा कि एक फुटबॉल गेम होता है कि आपने उसको गोल दिया, आपने उसको पास दिया, आपने उसको पास दिया, और तब जाकर हम इसको सक्सेस करें।
Okay. So yeah, that is analogy with football seems very interesting. So Dr. Dhiren Shah, do you have any ideas on the magic words which you can talk to the obstetricians whom you know and they can start doing newborn screening?
Well, persistence on the word on the newborn screening is, I guess, the only way out, and continuing to sensitize them. I mean, see, the same was the situation with delayed cord clamping. It is very particular thing, but I would say that it was something similar, that convincing our obstetric colleagues to delay the cord clamping for 1 minute after the baby is born also took a long time for the pediatric and neonatal fraternity to make them, understand the importance and everything. Of course, it's a teamwork, as Mr. Bhatia said. And it's not kind of a blame game that we want them to do the job, and then once the baby is out, I mean, we can do the just the test part, okay? Because once the disease has been diagnosed, if at all the test comes positive, then I feel that not only the neonatologist or the pediatrician, but the obstetrician is also equally answerable in the current scenario, especially when people are aware that a simple test like newborn screening could have picked up that disease, and maybe if they were made aware about it, then things could have been different. I mean, they could have opted for it. So sensitizing them from right from the antenatal period, and putting a word to them is what is expected from our obstetric team. And of course, then making it sure that it does happen is the part of the neonatal team.
Correct. So, do you think that we will only fall in line once the government says that yes, it is important? Otherwise, we will not do it on ourselves.
I would definitely want to mention that all the obstetric as well as the pediatric and neonatal national organizations, be it say FOXI or be it NNF or IAP India, they have been insisting on implementation of newborn screening on a large scale since a long time, even before the government actually started doing it in some of the states. And the same needs to be reinforced every now and then. Many a times in the private sector, I mean, of course, one of the reasons what I feel could be I mean, the limiting factor is that if there is something which is not kind of being promoted by the government or being promoted on a large scale, and if you keep on insisting for one such particular thing to the patients, then many a times now the patients may even start doubting your intention about the financial benefit involved in it, you know. I mean, this is just the literal thinking. So I mean, there are a lot of things, but which should not kind of hold us back in making people aware about this useful test, not very costly test. And we all know that together we can, and I'm sure that together we will.
Yeah, we can and we will. Okay. So, Dr. Dhiren, so assuming that a lot of obstetricians are tuned in today with our webinar, and if they get motivated enough to start newborn screening from today, what should they keep in mind about the which technology and how to do and what is the right way to go forward? What are the international standards on newborn screening?
Yeah, so most important thing is that many a times, I mean, it is believed that newborn screening can safely and easily be done from the cord blood itself, whereas that is not the ideal way to do it. As we all know that because some of the diseases may get triggered only after the baby receives its first feed. So the ideal time is after at least 24 hours after birth. It can be a simple heel prick. If there are facilities and expertise available, then it can be done with a simple venous prick as well. And as far as it comes to which diseases to be screened in a particular region, that would depend on the epidemiology at large. But some common diseases like congenital hypothyroidism, G6PD deficiency, hemoglobinopathy, especially sickle, are I mean, prevalent pan India. So at least people should start doing this with this basic with disease screening, and then some more can be incorporated depending on what is more prevalent in the region.
Okay. Running the municipal corporation newborn screening program, we do the collection by heel prick, as mentioned by Dr. Dhiren Shah. It's not cord blood or anything like that. We wait for 24 to 40 hours for the baby. In that process, the breastfeeding and everything is started. Only after that, we do the heel prick, then collect the blood on a filter paper. The filter paper is a very special filter paper with special absorbent methods. And the Lancet which is used is also the Lancet which is approved by WHO. And then this is allowed to dry. That is why this is called a dried blood spot. And when this dried blood spot is then sent across to the newborn screening lab, and when it is sent to newborn screening lab, within 24 hours they would report, and then we would know what is it. And in Mumbai, we take the project a little further also, wherein all the positive newborn screening babies are reanalyzed. So repeat test is done on them. And if the repeats also turn out to be positive, then they are advised to get a confirmatory test done. Now, the confirmatory test depends on which diseases come out to be positive. So that's how in short, the program is. And this is basically done as part of the recommended uniform screening palette. That is the RUSP guidelines. So if you just Google the RUSP, I guess anyone, this is to the participants. Very simple. Just Google this word recommended universal screening panel. And then that should give you which are the diseases that you should be screening for. Because I have seen over several years and of my in experience that a lot of times we end up doing disorders which should not be screened for. Yes, it could be for diagnostic reasons. Like for example, if Dr. Dhiren Thakkar as a baby is in NICU and he is wanting to find out whether this baby has a metabolic problem or not, he would probably ask for tests beyond the newborn screening panel. But newborn screening panel, as rightly said by Mr. Bhatia, it's a program. It's a program in itself. So it is to be done for that population, whatever that population is. So if you can define that population as all the babies who get delivered in your hospital, or all the babies who are entering into your OPD, okay, or it could be the whole district or the whole state when it is done by the government. So that is how we look at it. So Dr. Dhiren, we have almost, if you Google the RUSP guidelines, you will see that there are almost around 50 to 60 disorders that they mention about. but as Dr. Darshan also had he was little skeptic about doing everything because of the cost which is involved for doing a full panel, which could be anywhere between 5 to 6,000. Should Mehta said that doing a few disorders which are geographically prevalent.
Yeah, so when we talk about a screening program, actually it should kind of look at the target population and the diseases that you are really interested in looking at. I mean, see, if a disease prevalence is say only 1 in say 10,000 or 1 in 1 lakh, okay, then maybe you would not want to include them in your first panel. So basically the basic test should cover at least those diseases whose prevalence is more, and the expanded panel should be reserved for either those who already have a family history of a particular disorder, or if there are clinical signs in the baby that we can suspect, based on which that something abnormal could be happening with the child, and then a detailed assessment is required. So yes, I mean, not everyone should be subjected to the detailed panel, because on one hand we are always looking at the cost part also. So if you keep on expanding your panel, then naturally the cost is going to increase, and then applying it to the population at large could become a difficulty.
Mr. Bhatia, आपको क्या लगता है as a parent, because आप तो डॉक्टर नहीं हो, as a parent or an NGO who is running in newborn screening, are you okay that we should implement a basic small newborn screening panel universally for everybody and reserve the big panels right now only for those who have high risk or something?
देखिए, इसमें जैसा कि न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग होनी चाहिए जो ट्रीटेबल डिसऑर्डर के लिए, जो डिसऑर्डर जिसके ट्रीटेबल हो, हम बच्चे को क्योर कर सके। सेकेंडली उसका डेटा हो। तो जो कोर पैनल है, जैसे CH है, CAH है, G6PD है, ये तो हर हॉस्पिटल में या हर चाइल्ड केयर सेंटर में होना ही होना चाहिए। उसके साथ में मैं जोड़ना चाहूंगा क्रिटिकल कंजेनिटल हार्ट डिजीज कोर पैनल में हर हॉस्पिटल में या हर चाइल्ड केयर सेंटर में होना चाहिए। अब जैसे डॉक्टर साहब हाई रिस्क की बात आती है, तो निश्चित रूप से डॉक्टर साहब बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं डॉक्टर धीरेन, कि अगर कोई फैमिली हिस्ट्री ऐसी है या कोई अनएक्सप्लेन्ड डेथ है, तो उसके लिए पूरा पैनल या बियॉन्ड जाकर डायग्नोज नहीं होना चाहिए, क्योंकि हम लोग मिस डायग्नोस पर भी इतने पैसे खर्च कर देते हैं, जिसके अंदर हम लोग एक्सपेंडेड न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग आराम से करवा सकते हैं। सेकेंडली मैं इसमें एक बात और जोड़ना चाहूंगा, कुछ रीजन वाइज, जैसे जितना मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है कि खंडेलवाल या अग्रवाल के अंदर MSUD बहुत कॉमन है, या गुजरात साइड साउथ साइड में जाएंगे तो ऑर्गेनिक एसिडीमिया बहुत कॉमन है। तो अगर वो कुछ डिसऑर्डर उस एरिया में, उस रीजन में जुड़ सके, तो वो भी न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग के अंदर जरूर ऐड होने चाहिए।
Okay, so I think we are over with the part 1 of our questionnaire, and if there are any questions that the audience needs to ask, so we'll just wait for a couple of minutes. In the meanwhile, or anybody can take it up. When newborn screening is so important, we all talk about it. We have been talking about it from so many years. Are we, as obstetricians, are we really talking about it? I'm not talking about whether parents accept it or not. That's a different part of it. But as an obstetrician, shouldn't we just even go and talk to them and tell them that this is something which is available? Now it's your choice whether you want to do it or not, but at least it is available. Shouldn't we at least start with that, not assuming that they will do it, or not maybe even putting it as part of your package or something, but at least just telling them that it is available?
I personally feel that I think a holistic approach, मतलब आज की तारीख में I would say if as a gynec में हम बोले कि गर्भाशय निकालना है, hysterectomy करनी है, तो सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन क्या होगा पेशेंट का? सर दूरबीन से निकालोगे? That is the first question. क्यों? Because I think overall everybody now understands कि दूरबीन laparoscopy is better than open. Right. So the same way, अगर हम इसको holistically approach लेते हैं कि basically जैसे like pediatricians, if they begin with, I'm sorry, I'm slightly diverting from your point, but my point is अगर pediatricians जैसे 5 महीने पे बच्चे को देखा या 6 महीने पे, अरे न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग कराया? फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन. न्यूनेटोलॉजिस्ट पूछे, अरे न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग कराया? the same way, if we can also that way put across, जब prenatal exercise हो सकती है, prenatal yoga हो सकता है, so I think that has a lot of things which is involved and which is may not be very necessary. So but it looks good, so everybody does it. ऐसा तो उसके सामने हम न्यूबॉर्न स्क्रीनिंग को कंपेयर भी नहीं कर सकते. इट इज सो इम्पोर्टेंट. सो दैट इज व्हाई आई थिंक उसको हर लेवल पे अगर हम हैमर करते जाएंगे कि भाई आपने ये किया है, आपने ये किया है, तो आई थिंक इट विल कम अक्रॉस एज अ रूटीन कि हमें करना ही है. मतलब nobody would ask you a question कि करना है कि नहीं करना है.
Okay, so I have a very interesting stories to share, and one of the very reputed schools in Mumbai is asking that whether you have done newborn screening. Okay, and in admission they come and get a newborn screening test done because they probably didn't know about it.
Exactly. Their second child will definitely have newborn screening. If not.
Yes. So yes, it is very important. I think we all agree, we are all on the same page. And I'm not getting any questions. We have just 2 minutes, so we are okay to wrap up. Anybody for closing remarks, we can
just to add few more things, as already Mr. Vikas Bhatia mentioned, that newborn screening for the metabolic and genetic problems. It also includes screening for the hearing loss, screening for the critical congenital heart diseases. Many a times now it has become a routine to screen the child for the possibility of congenital cataract by doing a red reflex test in the neonatal or pediatric OPDs. And similarly, now routine screening for jaundice is also kind of is being taken up at quite a few centers with the bilirubinometer, because as we all know that it doesn't involve even a needle prick. So in a broader term, newborn screening includes everything what I mentioned, and it should not only be limited to the blood test.
So basically, just to put it in a very small nutshell, it is like an umbrella. Newborn screening is nothing. It's not a test, but it's an umbrella approach towards all the different problems that you can try to detect as early as possible, so that these babies don't end up getting a problem at a later point in life. It is the onus of the obstetricians and the neonatologists, pediatricians, the NGOs, the government of India, all to create that awareness that newborn screening. And one I think one thing which really takes away is one question which I think everybody should ask as question. Start asking the questions to the parents as newborn screening kiya kya?
Yes.
Okay. So I think with this note we should stop.
I think one last point before we end, which I just thought while we were discussing, is हम vaccination chart के ऊपर लिख देते हैं. I think every obstetrician gives it. उसके ऊपर लिख दो newborn screening किया, yes or no. I think it will be a reminder for everyone to start thinking about it.
To be honest, I mean that is happening at so many places. If we talk about our own place, okay, we have a kind of first visit assessment leaflet kind of a thing that we give to all our patients, which it is to create awareness amongst them that what actually their child is going to be tested for or looked at when they come to us for the first time after getting discharged from the obstetrician's place. So that not only includes the routine assessment or examination or anthropometry of the child, but it also carries information about screening for congenital heart diseases and all those things that I mentioned. We do agree and accept that some of those things are still optional as per the Indian government norms, but at least to create awareness about that, we have already put it on our file, so that many a times, even if we miss it, the parents themselves may ask us that what doctor this is about.
Okay, so I think we'll end with this note.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saurabh.
I would like to thank Tevatron for hosting this webinar for us, and we'll go ahead with the part 2 maybe sometime later next week or little later than that. Thank you very much, all the panelists and Tevatron.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.